And welcome back, everybody, to another CBC podcast. We're back, as always. This week we got a good show. I'm telling you, it's a good show. We got some Spider-Man news, because obviously the biggest news around. If I have to explain to you what the Spider-Man news is, you shouldn't be. You have stumbled upon the wrong channel and the wrong video.
I mean,
is it a menace?
Yes.
They could have also just been living under a rock.
Oh no, they can't be living under a rock. We got this covered, had it plastered everywhere.
Oh,
they knew it all along.
It's all the sources. Everybody was all over the place. But it's official, so we'll be talking about that. A little bit of Birds of Prey, some Disney Plus stuff, and Marvel Studios' insane future going forward, which we talked a little bit about before, but now with Spider-Man back in the fold, it's rather interesting. So, as always, first up, thank you to all the CBC members. We're closing in on 100 last I checked. I don't know. It's somewhere around there. But thank you, everybody that joined the channel for audio commentaries, the vlogs, various other things. And as you guys have seen, we're doing digital movie giveaways. So this month, we're doing the likes of Endgame and, of course, Spider-Man Far From Home. So the most active members on there, John, will end up getting the most. So, if you want to top John, I guess that's your go-to. But John is currently leading probably with a lead of at least 1,000 to 1. So, welcome, John.
Come on, we have an entire Q&A dedicated just from him.
We do. That's how it goes. But it's going to be a good week. I can feel it. So, as always, Armin, find me at Armini's and at Comic Book Cast. I'm here with Mitch.
Find me at Mitch692.
Also, Tristan.
Hey guys, you can catch me at It's J Chance.
And Shay.
Hey guys, you can find me at Michelle1602.
So, yeah, now that we got all that out of the way, as always on the channel, you guys can, check out some more stuff. Just to make a quick announcement, you guys, actually, it's out tonight, the day we record this, but it'll be out 3 days after. Never mind. Shay and I bring a small movie discussion podcast because we're like, Mitch is overdoing comics and TV. We can't let him run a movie one as well. That's too much at once. So Shay and I talk movies for about 15 minutes on the side. It's just, covering whatever else we don't cover on the channel. So this week we covered Mortal Kombat.
Stuff we've purchased.
Yeah, G.I. Joe and The Kingsman. So
yep.
you guys can check that out.
If you guys watch...
I haven't heard about G.I. Joe in a long time.
Yep.
If you guys do watch that, you'll realize then the reason why I re-downloaded G.I. Joe 1 and 2 to watch while I'm working out.
Those are movies. They exist. But,
are they? They are.
Don't there something?
They're guilty pleasures.
It has The Rock in it, so it has to be
right.
Only one of them does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind it.
Only the second one does.
I love the scene of G.I. Joe 2 where Cobra takes over the White House and he just throws Cobra flags on the sides of it. I'm like, yes, this is the perfect amount of dumb I needed in this film.
They got their footing in the second one to be more like the cartoon, and then they never came back.
When they come back, I need Snake Island or they failed again. I'm just telling you. Or Cobra Island. I need that thing. But yeah, now let's get into the main. Sony and Marvel Studios have reached a new deal. 2 appearances, apparently, for Spider-Man. I say apparently because the details kept changing from the old contract that we didn't even know stuff about. But they did confirm 1 more solo film and then another appearance in the MCU. So that's 2 appearances guaranteed.
And didn't they also get the 25% co-finance that they originally wanted?
Yep.
Yeah. Without having to dish out their own money.
Well, so I guess it's gone back on that because apparently they are going to be dishing out some of their own money, I guess. So, Disney is dishing out $25 million now to produce the film, which wasn't originally.
It's not necessarily $25 million. It depends how much the movie costs.
Right. So probably $150 again. So they'll be dishing out 25% of that. So, it makes sense. At least they worked something out, and at least we're getting a conclusion to Spider-Man's journey.
That's what I'm wondering is did they go higher on the totem pole to avoid Rockman?
They 100% went.
Oh, they jumped over Rockman.
100%. You don't get those public statements I guess he hasn't got time, and then you go straight back to the people. You go above. The whole people missed it the same day. There was a thing with PlayStation and Disney, and Nat Geographic and ESPN being on PlayStation View.
Mm-hmm.
So they obviously went slightly above.
They went as high as they could.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You couldn't go much higher.
So when you look at this new deal, I think it's kind of the best case scenario we got, right? Because it's like, look, at least it's one more solo film to wrap up the insane cliffhanger they leave us off on. So it's like, at least they're going to work their way through that, and then whatever other appearance they can, get out of him, which, obviously speculation is running all over the place on where it could be, and we still don't know. I think if you use, like, process of elimination, you could probably spot a couple of films he could fit into, but I think, at least as of right now, it's better than what it was before, right? We can all agree on that. It's like, It's
definitely going to be interesting, though, because they're sharing Tom Holland. It's like but we'll definitely talk about that a little bit more. But it's just really interesting to see how they had to sit there and play it out for as long as they did with this whole, we're trying to make a deal, and all the backlashes, honestly, what allowed them to push forward.
Well, still, I mean, when we look at the scenario, Sony was the one talking. Disney never responded. Like, they never said anything. They were like, oh, we don't want to look like the bad guy. Like,
I mean, it boils down to is like, how do you make a deal? And it's like, you either try and make the deal profitable for both sides, and if you can't really come to a conclusion, then you push off and you wait and you see what happens. And like what you said, I mean, is that Sony was just mouthing off the entire time, saying that Disney doesn't want to do this, or they did this, or they want more money, that they wouldn't come to the table, and then it comes that Disney wanted to, but for whatever reason, Rossman and Sony wanted to try and get more out of the deal than supposedly that they were going to.
Here's what I don't get, though. Like, Disney went to them, were like, we'll pay for 25%, give us back 25%. Okay, where is the loss in that when they're going to make more profit than they ever did before? Like, I don't get the mentality of them being like, that's a bad deal for us. It's like, no, that's a good deal. That's literally a good deal. Like, I don't...
Ruff doesn't like you. He doesn't like people that watches the movies. He doesn't like the movies.
Yeah, that is true, actually.
Well, that's what it was, I should say.
Yeah. So, where do you think his next appearance is outside of his own film? What's that one appearance gonna do? Because they're clearly gonna wrap up the trilogy. That's what they even said. So if you wrap up his trilogy, how does he have one more appearance unless it's somewhere before that, which would only be making sense in Doctor Strange, I guess?
Well, so did they say it was after?
They did, yeah. Which I don't get. Yeah. So I'm like, what? How? Like,
well, I think that kind of just shows you that this is a bit of a rush deal.
Yeah.
Like, compared to the first one where it's 5 movies and whatever.
Yep.
Like, clearly, this is like, we just need to get something in place. Let's just get it in place, then we can figure it out later on. Mm-hmm. Marvel can hold off on that one appearance for God knows how long. Like, maybe it's the Fantastic Four movie.
Right, which would make sense.
Yeah, like they said, it could either be the Doctor Strange movie, a Fantastic Four movie, or another team-up movie that has yet to fully develop. So.
Mm-hmm. And maybe
it's even Young Avengers. Who knows?
Right, and
is it going to only be movie appearance, or could it be a Disney Plus show and have him be put in Miss Marvel?
You could. I mean, realistically, you could. And that's, I guess, the kind of interesting factor in all this. It's like they clearly rushed through this. And I mean, look at Sony's original statement. Kevin Feige's busy. Meanwhile, Kevin Feige dancing over into Star Wars land. Being like, I'm making Star Wars movies now. It's like, oh, okay. Yep, he was busy, all right. Like, come on.
He had time to be able to do all of that. And it's definitely going to be amazing to see everything else. And I can't wait, though, to see the conclusion. Because at least we're not all sitting here like, well, what do we do now? But it's going to be sad if they don't, after his next appearance, continue things. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But it would be really interesting and kind of sad. It's like, oh, after his last appearance, it's done. It's like, no.
Well, this is the thing. With that whole PlayStation View deal, they're more... Disney and Sony are more like in a relationship than they ever were before. Mm-hmm. So there's obviously they're going to still have to talk things out, and obviously that's going to be massive for PlayStation to have all that stuff on view. So if Sony say no again, Disney go, all right then, well, we'll just they have something to take back now.
Yeah.
Whereas before they kind of didn't. So I reckon it's we said before like they're not going to take him away when the first deal runs out, but they did. So, but I don't think we're going to get a repeat of that moving forward.
I think that's the one holdover for after, like, when they have one film after the next Spider-Man, which the next Spider-Man already has a July release date, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and for 2021 and beyond. Let's say, feasibly, they probably have to put him in a film within 2 years of that. I would assume that's kind of there. It's like at least within 2 years. So whatever Marvel is planning, I'm assuming in that time, they're going to go back to the drawing board and start discussing it with them. Being like, look, how can we extend this? What can we do? Can we guarantee another film? Can we guarantee more appearances of Spider-Man and, like, 3 more appearances, let's say, outside of his own solo films, Like, I think they could feasibly reach something like that where it's literally the best for everybody involved. Because, again, Sony literally said when that, like, statement came out announcing the new deal, they're like, oh, we heard the fans online. It's like, yeah, you did.
Yeah, of course you did.
You mean they read the hashtag boycott Sony?
Oh, boy.
I think it's more the CEO of Sony Corporation read Twitter once and was like, yeah, you're done goofed.
Yeah.
Like, either sort this out or you're gone.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Sean. For people who don't know,
Who's Sean?
it's just we got this covered, had an announcement saying that Matt Murdock is going to be in the 3rd Spider-Man movie. It's completely false.
That they can't do that.
Can we thanks like we got this covered because they kept track of every single wrong deal in the last month.
That's true.
There was like 9 different deals.
I don't just like it's all over Twitter and Facebook constantly. And
His
then
contract.
check.
Well, okay, so if they feasibly wanted to work that out, they would have to rush him and get a new contract signed and figure out how he can be fit into it within 6 months of the film's release, because they can't legally write him into a script when they don't own him yet. Like, people, like, no. I'm just...
I just think like, it's not necessarily, like, it could happen down the line.
Yeah.
Like, once they get Daredevil back.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, right now, no, probably. It's more likely going to be She-Hulk. Mm-hmm. If they want, like, the whole lawyer angle.
Exactly.
That's kind of still speculation at this point.
And that also may be the reason why they've already announced She-Hulk, because they have that agreement already. And who's to say that the agreement isn't just a Disney? It could have been all 3 of them being like, fine, because it's, when it comes to She-Hulk, Spider-Man, and Disney, it's like they're 3 different companies.
Could you imagine Kevin Feige brings together execs from Disney, Sony, and Universal, and they all agree upon something? Dude, he needs
well, that's
to...
if Universal still play a part in it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Could they have just fully regained everything back? I mean, we'll never know unless they announce
I don't see Universal, like, maybe hanging on to him anymore, so maybe, you never know.
They probably just sat there and were like, can we just have the Hulk ride still, and y'all can do whatever you want with him?
Is it possible that maybe they reached a deal for those characters when the whole Sky thing happened and Universal jumped in and they were trying to deal between that? I mean, that is possible, right?
I imagine so.
Because Universal is, like, Disney have been playing real nice the last year. Like, almost freakishly nice. You're like, you guys are up to something. I don't like this. It's too much.
Like, if you look at the last 10 years or 11 years, like, they've had the rights, and not once you've had anything Hulk apart from Hulk being in an Avengers or Thor movie.
Yep.
Now there's suddenly a She-Hulk show. So what's changed? So something's changed.
Yeah. And
you can put money on that.
And Captain Speedo is coming too, so something's changed. Definitely, it's going to be good.
They have to resize the Speedos, so that's why.
It's taken forever to get any more in there, and the Speedo just don't work properly.
They want to make sure they don't need to have an entire CG team.
Oh, like Brendan Routh.
For Speedos.
Yep.
Do you know the story about Brendan Routh in Superman Returns? Originally, because Bryan Singer, right? So they had a whole team to make certain angles and shots of the package look super big. And then test audiences were so uncomfortable, they hired a CG team to go back in and make the package smaller.
I mean, they could just make him wear a dance belt.
Yeah. So that's it. Universal's been working on dance belt technology. That's
Or they're just waiting for you to go on the cruise and see what you look like in a
all right,
Speedo
I
so
need
they
to
can
do this,
cast
guys.
you.
I'm doing this. I'm just gonna go knock on. Do they have underwater sets? Yeah, that's where James Cameron's been for the last year, just tweeting random stuff and flip flopping. That makes sense. So yeah, that'll end that discussion on Spider-Man and stuff. Well, the Birds of Prey. Let's first talk about the trailer. So,
What Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
You mean Harley Quinn, the
Yeah.
trailer?
It's really weird where you see Harley Quinn has all these flamboyant colors, and then the Birds of Prey are just in rags.
they're muted and.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
not really. Huntress has got a costume on.
Does she though?
Is that a costume or is that just here you go?
It's a costume. Like,
I mean, yeah,
it's also not the only one she's got in the movie.
Yeah.
They do wear different things out throughout. So. The
So-
only one that's kind of in something that's just thrown together is Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
So my thing is with this, can you just please rename it to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, and then I will go into this movie 1,000 times happier.
Yeah. Like it's.
Do not
I mean, they
call
kind
it.
of already have.
No. They call it
the whole,
Birds
like,
of
paragraph for
Prey.
subtitle.
Right, the
It's
paragraph
a subtitle. Just make that the actual title.
And their entire marketing has been Harley Quinn. Let's be real. Even this entire trailer, like, there's nothing but.
Yeah, there's nothing that tells me this is a Birds of Prey movie. It tells me that this is a Harley Quinn featuring other women. Not even Birds of Prey, just other women. Just rename it, and I will be 1,000 times happier with that trailer, and then I'll be like, look, everything makes sense in the world now to me. I will go see this movie being like, I'm ready for a Harley Quinn movie.
I think it's just a few things that raise, like, concerns for me. It's like, every shot we see a black mask, there ain't no mask.
Nope.
I didn't know who that was until
does
someone
have-
told me.
Yes, he will have it, but, I mean, there is a set photo out there of him wearing, like, a half mask, which was like Shao Kahn almost, which was kind of weird, but,
It's like an opera sort of thing, though.
yeah. I guess I was corrected when I did a video about the poster from a couple weeks ago, and now I guess that is Victor Zsasz, who he's in a relationship with, which I had no idea, because I don't know how that bypassed me, because I really like Zsasz, so I'm like, oh. So, Zsasz looks interesting. I think that's the one takeaway I have for this trailer. It looks interesting, but I don't know. I need to see a second trailer. Like, I need to see more of the plot of the film and not just toss Harley Quinn into every shot and hope that sells the first teaser. Does that make sense to everybody? Like
Oh, yeah.
I think that's how I'm feeling about it.
Like, it seems like her character in general is going to have a better arc and
yeah.
a better story, which I'm really happy about. And by the end of the trailer, it looks like there's a potential that she's helping a kid. I don't know, maybe, or it's
So
one of the
that
Birds
is
of Prey.
Cassandra Cain, right?
Oh, that's Cassandra Cain?
Yeah, it is her.
So she
Oh.
did they announce that she's going to become Batgirl down the road or no?
They haven't said anything on that. I think they're waiting on what Reeves does because
Okay.
it's come out. Reeves is doing like the trilogy, and they're kind of holding off on the whole Bat family until he's done. So
Uh-huh.
Oh, I just thought like she possibly saved a child
No, 'cause-
who was like I basically like how I was saying last time we were talking about Harley Quinn and that particular scene that she's helping a kid, she's helping kids and things like that. Like that's what I thought that scene
See,
was.
I had a problem when I went into. For some reason, my memory gets crossed every time I hear Cassandra Cain. I think Stephanie Brown, so I completely forgot Cassandra Cain is Asian. So I go into. I was like, that looks nothing like her. Where's the blonde? And I was like, wait a second. Again, I'm thinking of the
Wrong
wrong.
one.
I am confused again.
It's
So
the wrong one.
and again, like there's no indicator of who these characters are in this trailer. Again, like I don't get the sense that that's Black Canary. You know, the one with Green Arrow. And I'm excited because the casting is real. I never got
they
that.
kind of
Like,
hint towards the powers in that trailer, though.
they do, yeah, but
But everything that's outside of Harley Quinn was like such a quick blip that unless you
Yeah.
sat there and was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this in slow-mo now. Like I feel like I couldn't see because I only watched the trailer once, but from the first time seeing it, I'm like, I feel like I missed so much because there's so much just being thrown of Harley Quinn's face everywhere. I get she gets a haircut. That
Here's-
was clear as day.
here's my takeaway on this. It's the first teaser. I'm never judging a movie fully by it. I remain cautiously optimistic because it's not the old DC guys running this film. It's
Of course it's not. It's bright and colorful.
right, and they seem to have a direction that's not getting completely reshot. Now, speaking of reshoots, Mitch, what's happening with the reshoots? Because apparently they removed the one leaked element that people were upset about. With
I was going to say, there's talk. There's it's a bit of conflicting thing, really. Some people are saying there's a cut with it. Some people are saying there's a cut without it. No. If you're not know what I'm talking about, obviously it's the diamond dick pics.
Yep.
Which hopefully it stays in. I don't know 100%. Like it's kind of like 50-50 on people saying it's there.
I have a feeling the peen pick is gonna get cut.
Yeah.
Well, if it does, like that kind of, for lack of a better word, neuters the third act. From what I'm aware of. So,
I mean,
it like lessens McGregor's character slightly, but we'll see. No.
what? Yeah, it's.
Because from running this trailer, like, you can kind of see how it would play in.
You can, yeah.
To his character arc a little bit, so it's like,
I don't know. I need to see, like, we're going to find out in the next couple months more test audiences and what they say, and obviously everything was confirmed from the first ones to be factual, and it matches up with this trailer, so it's like, okay, that was all fact, and we know that is a plot point. I want to see how they handle that, because, like I've said before, Black Mask is one of my favorite Batman villains. I think when it comes to this, they got a great actor, but I think execution is where it's at, and I think this might be one of the things where Warner Brothers gets cold feet. They're like, let's just go back on that and change that out. And I think
that's what I'm thinking.
Right,
well.
And if they change it, when so deep into the rest of the film and the plot revolves around it, you're going to get the disjointedness that you've gotten in every other cut-up DC film. And I don't want that. Like, stick by what you're doing because, well, you're...
Just give us the film you originally intended.
Don't Suicide Squad and BVS and Justice League it. Like, you've done enough damage with those butcherings of films, so...
That's why they sat there and they gave it to James Gunn now, and James Gunn will sit there and be like, no, you don't touch my stuff.
Yeah, don't touch it. It'll be good. Trust me. So, I don't know. I think we're all cautiously optimistic. Is that the good takeaway?
I mean, I really like the trailer. I will go to bat for this one.
Yeah, I'm optimistic after seeing the hyena.
Yeah?
Well, like I said, I'm like, just... The only thing that bothers me is they're selling this as a Birds of Prey movie. It's not. It's a Harley Quinn movie. And that's what I'm going into this. I'm not thinking I'm going to get any story whatsoever of Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
I'm going into this being a Harley Quinn movie, and that makes it more exciting.
Put it this way, it's not 100% a Harley Quinn movie.
It's a 99%.
Not quite. It's maybe like 75-25.
Okay, well...
they do give focus to other characters.
Good.
I believe it's specifically Black Canary gets more of a push.
Oh, good. That's the one I really want more of. So,
and you can kind of tell from the trailer as well because they seem to have a bit more of like a friendship going on.
Yeah, definitely. So they're probably gonna bond over Canary leaving Green Arrow and her leaving Joker. Is that probably a good assumption?
From the trailer, I assume it's like a Black Mask thing because she's obviously with him.
Oh, that too. Oh yeah. I guess we'll see soon enough. But yeah. So, second trailer, I think that'll be the one. That will be the one. But wait and see till that. Into more Spider-Man. Is Tom Holland going to be swinging between multiple franchises? Because that's certainly what it sounds like.
I mean, is it? I put a question mark on it. It's like, is it really even a question? Because Feige kind of said it is. So.
Right, and that's weird because this time Feige, it's not that awkward. Amy Pascal says, "Oh, they're adjacent." This time Kevin Feige's like, "Yeah, he can go over." It's like, oh.
I mean, it kind of feels like Sony told Feige to say that Venom's in the MCU, and he's like, "Yeah, he can cross universes."
I mean, it is interesting saying that Tom can go to the other universe and come back, but he can reference it, but no one in the MCU would know what he's even talking about.
Right.
It's going with their day.
I think... Yeah, I think what's going to basically be happening is Spider-Man in Sony's property is not going to be the same Spider-Man. It's going to be Tom Holland, and it's going to be the introduction to the Spider-Verse live action down the road when they actually fully communicate with each other.
See, now, I'm feeling completely indifferent about this, because here's my assumption is, they're going to wrap up Tom Holland's film, and the multiverse will play a huge part into the MCU going forward, as it's evident by everything that's happening in 2021 with Doctor Strange, What If, and all that. My assumption is, since his identity will be outed, he'll have one appearance in the MCU, but he'll get kind of sent over to that universe, and he'll exist as the same version, because I'm assuming Sony was like, look, give us that same Spider-Man. If he makes a few callbacks to the MCU, fine, but understand that we want this. And I think that was kind of part of the compromise. I would assume
It sounds like it's going to be the same but different.
Exactly.
But still the same.
Like, that quote is really interesting, because it's Kevin Feige doing the lie through his teeth, but also telling you the truth. Like, it's a weird quote that he gave. So, I don't know. I'm feeling like you're going to see the same Spider-Man, but different universes, which is going to be weird, because starting off in the MCU, jumping over to fight Venom, and then if they work something out, he's going to jump back over with a Spider-Verse film? Like, that would be interesting.
The thing is, though, is where is Venom? Like, we haven't heard... We haven't heard anything about Venom, so are they now going to hold off again on Venom coming out until after Spider-Man is done with his movie in...
No, we're getting Venom next October, guaranteed.
Yeah,
Sony needs it. They can't do anything with that.
Yeah, because we need Morbius.
Right, because Morbius is coming July, so... Like...
So is Morbius and Spider-Man 2 or 3 coming out in the same year?
No, Spider-Man 3 is a year after it.
Yeah.
So how are you going to have Tom Holland playing or MCU version Spider-Man in those two movies without his explanation?
I don't think he's going to be in either of them.
Yeah, I think they're going to delay that till Venom 3 maybe, and
okay,
Morbius
then that
2
makes a lot more sense.
I mean,
if the deal hadn't been made, he would have absolutely been in one of them.
Yep.
Or if not both.
Yep.
But since it has been made, I think you can kind of count that out, because they're going to be like, yeah, no, I mean, we haven't set that up yet, you're not doing it.
I literally talked to a person who told me about some of the Morbius stuff, and when he was told that they're doing reshoots, and he said Sony's holding off on reshoots due to contracts, and I was like, oh god, no! Like, that's why they were waiting to do Morbius reshoots, and now that this has worked out, I'm assuming you're going to hear about the reshoots going forward. Probably won't include Tom Holland, because obviously they're probably not going to want to rush him in there, because that wouldn't make sense.
There's a possibility then those reshoots may make it so that it can actually better fit within an MCU universe.
Nah.
Yeah, but those movies aren't going to be in the MCU.
Yeah, they'll be the Spider-Verse version.
The Sony movies is going to stay Sony movies.
Yeah,
everything else.
There's no way Kevin Feige is accepting all that, because that will just drag everything down. They wouldn't even be able to put that in a box set to make sense.
Nope.
No. There's also something we're going to talk about later that not everyone's going to hear, but it will make more sense when we get to it.
So, this is going to be interesting to see how they proceed with this, but we know Tom Holland is going to remain Spider-Man on both sides of the verse. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, we'll know within the next 2 years, because that's when everything unfolds, but until then, that's what we have for that. Disney Plus is about to drop the most expensive TV series of all time with every MCU show that's coming. Budgets are going to be upwards of $25 million a pop for an episode,
which is 10 more than Game of Thrones,
bro.
Which is only
Jesus.
10 more. Jeez, the way you
also,
made that.
That's on the low end.
Yeah,
if it's like a 6 episode, like it's kind of.
Oh my gosh. Well, they've sat there and they've constantly stated these Disney Plus Marvel series are basically going to be mini but longer movies, because of the fact that they want to make sure everything is able to withstand within its own continuity. So now you're going to... How jarring would it be if you sat there and you have the movies, obviously with their movie budget and looking amazing, and then you have the TV shows on this, like, really, really low budget.
Then you have them looking like the Netflix shows, and you're like, there's clearly a disconnect here. And I mean, it's even been said Feige does not want that. He's going to oversee everything and make sure it's the same CG teams and production. That's why they're shooting these shows like a year and a half out.
Yeah, they don't want it to become the next Inhumans.
No. I mean, to be fair, the whole scheduling thing, like WandaVision shooting earlier because she's obviously in Doctor Strange.
Yep.
So you kind of got to get that out of the way first because those shows and that movie come out very quick.
Exactly. Which, again, looking at the budget of these shows and the amount of shows they're producing, you start to understand how, like, Disney Plus is positioning this. And then if you want, like, a proof of quality concept, go watch The Mandalorian, because that looks on par with every single Star Wars film. Dare I say, I think it looks better than some of the more modern Star Wars films. Like, it looks unreal how much...
So it looks like a movie.
It does, right. Like, I think people miss the point where TV shows have a TV show-style camera angle. Like, when you see a TV show, it looks like a TV show. Mandalorian does not look like a TV show. And there's only a few shows in history that can claim that, like Game of Thrones, episodes of Breaking Bad, certain ones I can call out that looked like a film, but that's really about it. So the fact they're putting that much effort into it, it speaks volumes to how big these productions are going to be.
Don't expect the same sets and very like close-up shots.
Oh no,
6 hours. You're not going to get that.
No. When I've seen some people be like, wait a second, if you're spending $200 million on 8 hours, that means you have to just essentially stretch out the special effects from like a Guardians film throughout 8 hours. I'm like, no, because you're focusing on minor characters, like.
Well, you're saying minor. We got Scarlet Witch and the Vision over here. Like that's very CG intensive.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to sit there and have though every single episode her sitting there and wandaing and putting out her black light or her red light poof everywhere.
I say her black light. Like, what is she doing with Vision?
She's opened up a club. She's got a hot topic in her
clean.
See, the old question was, can robots cry?
Now it's can robots squirt.
Oh, God.
You had to take the joke one step further, didn't you?
Is this coolant? What are you? They'll tie in that Bender joke. It'll be great. But no, I think this idea of bridging the gap is going to be really huge because, like, you're going to have Disney Plus, right? And you boot up an MCU show by Kevin Feige, you're like, oh wow, that's the Falcon flying around and it looks real. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, what other Marvel show they got? Let's check out this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Runaways or something. And you click that and you're like, boy, this definitely isn't the same team, is it? Like, because you can tell, right? And that's not an insult to, like, Runaways or Cloak and Dagger. That's two, in my opinion, the best shows airing every year. But it's going to be disjointed. Like, there is that, which brings us to that whole talk, which I guess we could kind of quickly add on here, that everything is moving to Feige. Like, yeah. Well,
everything live action is moving to Feige. Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace, Hellstrom. You're going to add one good season.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is Hellstrom going to go or is Hellstrom going to stay? What I want to know is what is going on with the Hulu shows? Like, obviously, the animated stuff that's staying because the whole rumor is that the Marvel Entertainment or TV is just going to be the animated side. Right. What is going on with the rest of those?
I'm going to guess they're on borrowed time.
Yeah,
sadly.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Just like,
I can sit there and I can see them potentially just giving them a little bit more of a budget for those shows to make them so they are the grounded teams, but here it's a way for them to kind of look a little bit more like they are part of this universe, because it would be really sad to have these amazing other shows that they've got going on with Cloak and Dagger and the Runaways, and then just be like, oh, well, since we have Disney Plus and we're focusing on MCU stuff, we're going to just ditch you, when those shows have a great following. Yeah. And it would be a very missed opportunity because those two shows are definitely going more towards like the teenage kind of people, which are the people that are going to be growing up watching these shows.
And it's also variety. Like, no offense to Kevin Feige, because I love his stuff, but a Kevin Feige production when you see it, and like, it's great because it brings us this seal of quality that's like unmatched in Hollywood. But I do like what they did with much of the Netflix stuff, right? Like, Kevin Feige would not have given us Daredevil the way Daredevil came out.
Well, here's the thing: a lot of people from the Marvel TV side are working on these Disney Plus shows.
That is true. Yeah, that is true as well.
So it's kind of like, it's saying you can look at IMDb, and if you find the same credit, you're gonna have like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Falcon and Soldier. Like,
so I can see him trying to sit there and be just more this, let's make sure everything fits within a continuity, but giving the people who are writing those particular shows a little bit more freedom. Because if not, then we're going to be sitting there and basically having the exact same shows on rinse and repeat, which that's what I loved about like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is every season did not feel like a rinse and repeat. Not even every episode felt like a rinse and repeat, because they constantly had different people, but they just had like an overarching like story that they wanted to get to, and allowed all the other people to direct it and write it in different ways. And that's what I loved about it. And that's what I feel they need to do when it comes to Disney Plus, and hopefully still keeping the Hulu shows and the freeform shows this way.
Let's say, I mean, I desperately want Daredevil back, right? Would that then go under Kevin Feige? Like, is he has to take on the 4th season mantle? Like, that's a weird...
I assume so, yeah.
That's such a weird scenario to me. It's like...
I mean, it depends what they do with Daredevil. Like, if let's say they can get him back before, like, the end of the year or whatever, hypothetically, do you reboot?
No!
Does Feige look at it and go, or like, look at all the TV side and go, we're going to start that again?
Oh!
Because they are, there's the whole rumors of rebooting the Inhumans in Miss Marvel show.
Yep.
So, but at the same time, does he kind of go, people really like Cox?
Yeah.
With X, not a CK. So, I don't know, it's a tricky one. What'd you do?
I can see them, especially with the fact that they have everything going on with the multiverse. You can bring Cox back, bring elements of how his character was as Daredevil in the Netflix show, but be like, oh, there was another. Maybe
you give it to Feige, he calls it Daredevil the Man Without Fear or something, and it's not such a reboot, but it's like a soft reboot. Yeah, we'll acknowledge what happened. It's been, after the blip, 8 years have passed. Daredevil's on its own now. Maybe you bring back Foggy, but that's the extent of it, and you tie it to the Midnight Suns and the darker side of the MCU. I think that could work, but a straight-up, reboot, if they were to cast someone else, I will boycott that show. That is not happening.
It would 100% be a mistake.
Yeah. No, that would...
And they're smart enough to sit there and not do it that way. They would probably be at the point of just not even having those characters ever return. No. But they've even stated they want these characters back. So the way to give the fans what they want, but be able to make it into the correct continuity, is give us the same actors, but just do a slight little retelling, just like Armin said. That is the best way to have both worlds happy.
I was going to say, if anything, just get Cox and D'Onofrio back.
Exactly. Yup.
I can handle everything else going.
Same.
Get the Bullseye guy back as well, because I want to see how that resolves.
Oh my
everything
God.
else, you know what? I can. If I just have to have that, I can live with everything else going.
Yeah.
I'll be sad, but I will take it.
Yeah, you need to have the avocados at law.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
just name the TV show that.
Could literally introduce Bullseye, same actor with a suit, and Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin in another show. Them trying to sleaze their way back into New York now that everybody's back and trying to run some crime, and you could work that in.
What if this is the team-up movie for Spider-Man? It's just Daredevil.
Can't handle too much hype.
Punisher.
And,
I can live with take Punisher.
His story ended. I'm good with no more Punisher. That's coming as a Punisher fanboy. I'm good with where it ended, honestly. Yeah. So, we'll come back and we'll talk more about whatever is happening with Disney Plus soon, because, productions are going to start rather soon. So, next up, Marvel Studios in 2021 is about to completely annihilate everything in its way. It's going to be insane, because 4 films because Spider-Man was obviously added back to the fold.
Yep.
And then multiple Disney Plus shows are all coming at us at once.
I remember you sitting there and just telling me, not even just Marvel's 2021, just 2021 in general. Literally next year 2020 is the last year that you can just kind of breathe in between shows.
I mean, the good news for like fans of this show, you're never gonna have to hear us scrape the barrel for some topics. We're gonna have something to talk about every week. It's gonna be insane.
We're gonna have to up it to 2 a week just to get everything in.
Oh, jeez.
At some point, it might become that. So I'm just gonna bust out the MCU list. So 2021, we have Shang-Chi, WandaVision, Loki, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man 3, What If, Hawkeye, and Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh.
That is almost unreal. Like when Kevin Feige a couple years ago said, we're going to get to the point where we have 4 movies a year and a couple of TV shows, everybody was like, we'll see it when it happens, Feige. Oh, okay.
That happened a lot sooner than we thought.
Just a little caveat. They are still on only 3 movies technically.
Right.
Spider-Man's a Sony movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oof. What a...
It's still a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it. You don't want me going outside.
Basically.
I'm not going to fight you that hard now. So.
No, you just have to do what I do. I'm going to literally be sitting there doing my cardio on the treadmill or Stairmaster watching these shows because that's going to be like the only way I can actually have enough time to keep up with everything.
Like, I mean... I think when you look at it, 2021 is an interesting year, and I think it's a turning point for the MCU, because once that happens, you're looking to the future. 2022, 3 movies, 4 TV shows. 2023, more stuff. Like, it's kind of
It's a lot.
It is a lot, and I've been kind of just working on what I think, they're going to go down the road with and everything, and you're going to get to the point where some of these shows, when they get renewed, which no doubt they will, you're going to have second seasons coming out a year or in a year and a half later, which, again, that's a lot.
And people said we were going to have superhero fatigue.
I mean, we might after all this, you don't know. But the whole second season thing, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Can you redo a season 2 of WandaVision?
No, I don't think it's going to be like all of it.
But I think you can do Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, you can definitely
Possibly,
do that.
but wouldn't you put that in the movie as well?
What If can go forever.
Yup.
It can, but if they're doing all 22 movies for the first season,
oh my god,
what are you going to do after that? Yeah, don't have to wait like another 10 years for season 2 of the
I think you take a couple breaks for What If, like if something else is airing, like Hawkeye, right? Maybe What If takes a small break for a couple weeks and then comes back to fill in a void between the next show that's coming, so there's something always available, which would make sense for Marvel content, a new episode every week, and that way they can stockpile because they're clearly already...
That's another thing. They're going to be weekly.
Oh, yeah.
So, what if you could probably split up into several and just be like, right, here's year 1 of phase 1, year 2's phase 2, and et cetera, et cetera. So you're obviously not going to have like a 23 weeks of what if going at once.
Right.
But,
no.
And, like, people are also forgetting with these shows, right? There is also the stuff that's happening on the outside, so... Runaways, if that gets renewed, or whatever happens with Glyph, whatever happens with the other Marvel show, and whatever happens with the other Marvel TV show productions that they said are coming to Disney Plus. So there's other content that's going to be out there for Marvel fans. It's not just this. So 2021, you're probably looking at 4 movies and at least 10 TV series?
Yep.
Like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very interesting time, but it's also going to be an amazing time because we're going to finally start being able to see a little bit more of what they want in the future. And 2021 is going to be the year that we're getting only a couple of new things with like Shang-Chi. He's the only like really new character that we're going to be getting.
Right.
But when it comes to 2022, we are literally getting Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, She-Hulk,
and possibly Ghost Rider if it's true he's going up.
And then
Marvel
Blade.
Studios.
So that means then those are a lot of new characters. Yes, we've seen Ghost Rider in the past. Yes, we've seen Blade in the past. But that's a bunch of new characters then that we get to have a fresh new take on. So going forward, we're 2021 is going to be like almost the last year of a lot of the old, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's like
and we're
a
really
rollover to the
pushing
future, yeah.
into the new.
I mean, either way they take it, it's a lot of content, and there is still a possibility, you know, like, down the road, we know we're going to get new films, so, and sequels and new ideas, and, you know, you can pretty much, if you're a betting man and somebody's like, hey, you want to bet there's going to be an X-Men series? Yeah, you play some bets on that happening, because you're going to get X-Men on TV as Disney Plus, and you're going to get an X-Men film franchise.
Oh, see, that's the thing. If these shows are getting like 150 million a budget, just give me X-Men on Disney Plus. Don't ever do a movie.
They'll do a movie because of the fact that it's gonna just draw people in.
Just split it. Give Wolverine to movies, because you know he's a billion-dollar maker, and give X-Men to Disney Plus, and oh my god, that would be glorious.
And then we actually can have time to get to know the X-Men characters properly.
We only got to know Wolverine, Charles, and Magneto.
Yep.
Yep.
There's
only like another
sprinkles of
16.5 million mutants left. Like.
That's the one thing, like, Gifted was a show that I absolutely loved, and it gave us the opportunity to get to know people. Yes, it was after the X-Men were technically dead
Same
or
with
gone.
Legion, too. It was like,
And
oh, look.
Legion. Like, those were shows that I so preferred as a show, because I felt like I can actually feel for these characters. And that is how, though, I feel like you have to do X-Men moving forward, is do that, yes, then to really get people to watch the show, that's when you bring Wolverine in for just one, maybe two shows, and then put him back on movies.
Who's to say they're not going to do what Amazon wanted to do with the Dark Tower? Because the original pitch for Dark Tower was film, 8 to 12 episode TV series, builds up the next film. What if Kevin Feige is ballsy and crazy enough, which he is, so he's like, how about we do an X-Men movie? And then right after that movie ends, we go live with them in the school for a while, and that builds up the second movie. And then you go see, it's like, that would actually work. Because that's the way they're pitching Disney Plus as it is. It's like, no, you're going to watch everything because you're an MCU fan. It's like, well...
Then you can actually get the story between Cyclops and Jean.
Right.
You can actually get Rogue, get a correct Rogue. You can get Gambit.
Get a correct everybody. That's how we'll refer to the X-Men. Correct.
I say, can we leave Gambit alone? No, just keep him over there.
No, dig his body up.
No, leave him. Gambit can stay over there. It's fine.
No, let's have an actual Cajun. Can we get the guy who voiced the lightning bug in Princess and the Frog? Because he was actually Cajun, I think. Mm-hmm. Can we get him?
Oh, voice actors are voice actors, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But, 2021, we're going to enjoy that year because, well, you guys...
Because they said so.
Because they said so, pretty much, yeah. They've told us we have to, and we're gonna, so... There we go. That has brought us to the end of the podcast. Thank you for everybody that's stuck through, that's listened to this. As always, as I mentioned at the top of the show, there is always bonus topics for members, and there is things happening over with the members side of, the channel, which gaming podcast, giveaways, discussions, multiple discussions because of John again. So, it's
John basically has his own little discussion.
John's providing content for you guys. So thank you for listening for another week. And next week we're going to come back with a little bit of a different podcast. It's going to be a Q&A one because we're hoping not a lot breaks. And if it does, I'll just...
Oh, God, I'd imagine.
I'll just whip up a video somehow.
You just jinxed it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, John just said you can just splice his questions in.
Exactly. So take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.